This is Mr. Hanna and welcome to What the Format. Today we're going to go over solving linear equation inequalities. And this is a little different than linear inequalities. Linear inequalities have one variable. Linear equation inequalities are two variables. It's just a linear equation. Now this linear equation is in standard form, but notice instead of the equals, we have our inequality. And we could add any of the four inequality symbols here. We've got less than, greater than, less than, equal to, greater than, equal to. Those are the four. Now, with linear equation inequalities, there's two things you have to do differently than lines. And hopefully you're going to start to notice a pattern as we go forward. A lot of what you do in algebra just keeps coming back. Or geometry, or algebra 2, trigonometry, calculus. You learn something, it comes back. Then it comes back again and again. But each time it comes back, they've added more to it. So once you learn something, if you forget it, when it comes back, now you have to relearn it. So that's where your memorization comes into play. If you're not memorizing what you are being taught and understand, you're not really learning. Memorization is the key to learning. So linear equation inequalities are no exception. We're going to just basically graph a line here with two differences. We're either going to have a dashed or solid line. You have to know when you do which one. And then we have to shade based off the slope of the line. If you have a positive slope, there's greater than, there's less than. If you have a negative slope, there's greater than, there's less than. If you have a flat line, zero slope, horizontal, that's greater than, that's less than. If you have a vertical line, that's your undefined slope, less than, greater than. And where that symbol is, that's where you shade. Now, less than or equal to goes with the less than as well. Greater than or equal to shades with the greater than as well. The difference between the two is that when you have the equal, your line is solid. You'll notice here I don't have an equal line. You also know that I'm in standard form. To solve, we want to graph it and then shade it. And the best way to graph it is to put it into slope-intercept form. So that's something that I've gone over before in another video. You're going to want to go back and look at that. There's also point-slope form they can give you. Now you can graph directly from point-slope form. That would work. Or they'll give you slope-intercept form and you just graph from there. So once I get into slope-intercept form, I'll go over the steps to graphing it and shading it, and that will be it. So it's not super complicated, but it's a longer problem now. There's more steps to it. Okay, you're still graphing a line as normal, but you have to go through the steps to get to the point where you can graph the line, first of all, and then you have to know how to graph it and how to shade. So those are what we're looking for. So here we go. I'm going to solve for y. I'm going to subtract 3x from both sides. This will cancel over here. We'll get negative 4y is greater than, and we always want the x term to come first. Okay, then I'm going to divide by negative 4. Now here's where it starts. If I'm a linear equation with an equals, dividing by that negative 4 doesn't do anything. If I divide by a negative with an inequality, just like linear inequalities, when you divide by a negative, this has to change direction. It has to switch, flip directions, however you want to think about it. These will cancel and you'll get your y, which is what we want. Negative over negative is positive. You're going to get 3/4 x. Plus over negative is negative. 8/4 is 2. Now the line is in slope-intercept form. I'm going to go to my negative 2 on my y-axis because that is my y-intercept. My slope is 3/4, so 3 is your rise. That means you're going to go up 1, 2, 3, over 1, 2, 3, 4. And why did I go to the right? Well, I went up 3, right 4 because it's positive. Now, I usually always like to go, I think I've explained this in a video before, with the slope I like to try to go up. Right is positive, left is negative. Now now you have to go down. So if you go down, then left is positive, right is negative. It's backwards because you've gone down. Now I have the line, the points, right? I need to draw the line, but what kind of line? Well, I have a less than. So that's going to be a dashed line. So my line is going to look like this. Instead of being solid, I dash it. That means the points on the line are not actually a solution to this equation, which is a little different because we're used to thinking, oh, I graphed a line and those are my solutions, but not with inequalities. If you have a dashed line, the points on the line are not a solution to your equation. Now, where do I shade? Well, less than is down here, so you're going to shade down here. And that's it. That's your solution. You graphed the line, you shaded, you figured out if it was dashed. That's it. Now, I know some of you are thinking, well, that's a lot. It is, but it's also something that you should be familiar with at this point. Putting a line from standard form to slope intercept form should be something you're familiar with. Then at that point, you have three things to watch out for. You've got to watch out for dividing by a negative to switch the inequality. You have to get the line dashed or solid, and you have to shade. And if you break it down into those small components, it's not as bad as it looks. Yes, there's a lot of it. You have to take your time, work through each step, but each step is fairly, I mean, like here, I didn't do any math. Negative 3 plus x plus 8, I just wrote it. Negative 3 over 4, I'm not dividing anything, I'm just writing the slope, and there's my division, negative over 4. That's really the only math I did. Everything else was just knowing where to put points on the line, dash, shade. So hopefully you're starting to see, if you break it down into pieces and steps, no one piece is terribly difficult, but there are a lot of steps. And this will come back again, because after linear equation inequalities, now we're going to have eventually at some point system of linear equation inequalities, which instead of one line, you're now going to have two. So this will come back, and then it'll come back again, because there are times when they have even more inequalities. They call them constraints. And you could have as 3 or 4 that you have to graph and then shade the area that's the solution. So you want something you definitely want to get good at, because it's going to come back again and again. Like I said, when it keeps coming back, it'll come back with more. Anyway, hopefully this has helped you with solving linear equation inequalities and linked it to what you already know how to do. Hopefully it's broken it down into small, simple steps, easy bites for you. And hopefully this is fairly clear for you. If it's not, again, rewatch the video, go back through the steps. You're welcome to try some examples. And then, especially with lines, you could always go to desmos.com, graph the line, make sure you graphed it right. And then, like I said, then just check whether it's dashed or solid and practice your shading. And after a while, hopefully it'll click and become easier for you. Anyway, this has been Mr. Hanna with What the Format. Thank you for watching. Happy mathing.